Bearcat Bounce Podcast, back at it again. Happy Monday. Bit of a spooky Monday. A Monday that has brought nightmares leading up to said Monday. A Monday following a loss against an AAC team for the first time since this podcast has been a podcast. If I'm remembering correctly, but it's Monday nonetheless. It's a Halloween edition of Monday. It's a Bengals on the TV Monday. It's an in and out BBP yet again. That's why I'm going to welcome in my two guys, pals, partners. One was there in Florida with me. The other one was back in Cincy holding down the Queen City. So without further ado, Mr. Aaron Smith, Mr. Chad Brendel. Gentlemen, how are we?
Happy to be home.
Yeah. I'm not quite home yet. I'm at the Florida home. Oh, geez. Fresh from trick-or-treating, Mr. Ryan Reuter himself joining as the quad. I see you went out as maybe a greaser? Was that were you Pony Boy out there? The outsiders type feel? But
Tony Soprano Jr.
Okay.
I had to rush around the block to make sure I got all my candy and maybe a little gabagool on the way up too. But
gabagool. Well, welcome in, Ryan. How are we?
Doing well. Obviously, tough weekend. Heart hurts for all the guys, but it was a solid weekend. My brother got a win, one of his 6 total wins at Brown University. So that kind of brightened my weekend up. But
okay.
Other than that, still kind of hurting for the Bearcats.
Yeah, I think we all are. Chad, how are we?
Good. Just got done with the little trick or treat action here in the subdivision.
Yes, sir.
Everybody, the first time I think I can recall that I had to call it quits because they wiped us out.
Yeah,
didn't have a single piece of candy left. When I came inside.
What's the Chad Brendel candy? The Brendel family candy that you hand out?
I went with the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Twix, Reese Cups, Snickers, peanut butter Snickers, which are actually my favorite. I love peanut butter Snickers.
Those are good. They are good.
What else?
I thought you were going to say full-size candy bars. If you're saying heavy
Kit Kats.
hitters.
No, I'm talking the brands.
All right.
The heavy hitters.
All right.
No, I'm not going full-size candy bars. I don't know those kids. Fuck them kids.
I mean, the full-size candy bar houses, those are the ones you secretly would go back to. Maybe, trade around masks and go in a little bit different.
So in our old neighborhood, I could have gone full-size candy bars because it was a quiet, residential street. It wasn't a subdivision. Right. If you're trying to go full-size candy bars with I don't know, do the math. We probably had 250 kids come by.
Yeah.
You're just catching money on fire.
Right.
We Bearcat Journal does all right, but we don't have it like that.
But for one night, you're that cool house, man. You're that cool house for that one night.
I'm not trying to be the cool house. Fuck the
Hey,
kids.
we're up next, though. We're up next. Bearcat Journal. We're going to be giving out big candy bars later on. Don't count us out, man.
Gonna have
I don't know the kids. I don't know them. If it was a close, you do that if you got a close neighborhood, right? And you know all the kids and the families, you're dropping. I live in one of those subdivisions. My next door neighbor is a administrator at a school in Covington. There was a kid that came through today that was from his school, and he lives a block from the school. We're one of those subdivisions where people just come and drop their kids off.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Trick or treat. They're not getting full-size candy bars. They're just not.
No.
There we go. Hey, they are getting full-size candy bars at the Fickle House, that's for sure.
Okay.
That's definitely a full-size candy bar house.
Could you imagine how far you have to walk from your house to get to the Fickle House?
Hey, it's worth it. That Indian Hill trick-or-treat might be a little different out there.
They trick-or-treat with golf carts in Indian Hill.
Yeah, I was going to say, you get some motorized scooters, I think, is what they've got, just buzzing around left and right.
The kids are on hoverboard, or the hoverboard things.
There you go. The little Fickles are running around on that, getting spoiled by daddy's money.
Of course.
Well, the
That's
thing
why
is,
you make that money, right?
You stop at the house, but you could also stop at the barn to get another candy treat.
Yeah, they got two setups: the barn set up,
right
the
there.
house set up.
Well, the barn's got to be a haunted house, right?
Yeah,
Ooh.
something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the mats are down in case some kids are trying to get after it.
Get some work in.
Then the Fickle clan is there, and they're like, "All right, let's go."
Yeah,
it's just the two little twins in like wrestling gear. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I feel like Coach Vic would be back there just trying to take his anger out after the loss, just beating up some kids or something.
We don't condone that, but
No,
if it happened, it would be interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I agree.
We don't condone child abuse.
Story at 11.
Yeah. Story at 11. And you know what? If your car gets any damage tonight, you know what you could do? Go over to Danco Joe. Tell Joe BCJ sent you. Say the Halloween treat. This is a Chatty B king size treat. Go on in. $10 off an oil change. 10% off your next fixing. I went out tonight with my little nephew. He was Buzz Lightyear. I dressed up in a banana outfit. My sister was a pickle. My other
You are
sister,
such a basic bitch.
No. I wore a goofy costume my entire life. That goofy costume has been through it. It was in a lake once. I was all the way down underneath except for the goofy head sticking out of the lake.
That was just your head.
Yeah.
That was yesterday.
Hey, Goofy's seen a lot. So Goofy just took the day off today. It was the bananas time. I called him the banana, the reliever. But you know what? We made it in and out. I'm excited for after this. Got Reese's. Yeah, exactly. Bring in the righty. Actually, the banana is a southpaw because it's a weird looking thing. But kind of suggestive too. But it's weird. Anyway,
yeah, there we go.
But man, Danco Transmission, our good buddy Danco Joe. Get your car fixed there if you need to. Speaking of fixing, man, we've got to dive right into it. Obviously, these shows are not real used to these kind of shows, to be honest. I was saying to Aaron and Justin and Keith and the whole media crew after the game, I was like, okay, I'm not really sure how to handle myself after a day like this, and I'm sure the team was trying to figure out the same thing themselves and this, that, and the other. But without further ado, it was a tough one there in Orlando. 25-21 final. Kind of a weird game overall. One that obviously had some ebbs and flows on both sides. One that featured a backup quarterback who probably had a little personal vendetta. I imagine this was Mikey Keene's chance to really resurrect some demons that are in his life against a team that kind of throttled him last year. It was a game that just, man, it stinks. At the end of it did. 25-21, Chad and Aaron, you guys kind of already touched on it a little bit in the nightcaps, but a couple days removed. Anything that's kind of stuck out to you or kind of been on your head as like a main topic or a main thing that's been bothering you or something that you see maybe as a positive a couple days removed? Chad, start with you.
I don't know if there's any positive from that. You had a game where the offense, unfortunately, we're like, this isn't the type of consistency you want where there are going to be 3-4 drives during a game where they look unstoppable. And then there's going to be like 6 3 or 4 play drives where they get a first down and punt or they go 3 and out. And there's just, we talked about this last week. What does Cincinnati need to do? They need to find some middle ground, even if it's just a 7-play, 35-yard drive where you punt and you put the other guy at their 10-yard line. Like, there's not enough of that. It's either all the way to the red zone, get a touchdown or a field goal, or it's nothing. And that trend continued. And that's frustrating as hell because there's too much talent offensively on this team to be so boom or bust, to be so polar opposite on what your identity is offensively. Is some of that not being able to run? Yes. Is some of that Ben not hitting the intermediate throws at the percentage that he needs to? Yes. is some of that receivers making drops, especially early in the game when you're trying to build a rhythm. Yes. Like, it's not one thing you can say, this is what the offense needs to fix.
Mm-hmm.
And the consistency will automatically take place. So no, I don't like, and then defensively, like, I'm sure as Aaron and I talked about, you guys were much more aware how hot it was than we were sitting back at home. They didn't mention it really on the TV at all.
It was 85 degrees at kickoff, and real feel was 90.
So it's twofold with the defense. This defense has been on the field for 80 to 100 plays every week.
Yeah.
One of those factors is on the offense. The offense has to do a better job of what we just talked about. The other is the defense has to get off the field. They can't keep allowing teams 7 of 14, 50% again for an opponent on third down. And maybe you think, well, look at what UCF did on those final 2 drives. Guess what? 1/3. They only took 1 third down snap on those 2 drives. And that was the beginning of the first one. The second one, there wasn't a single third down in that final scoring drive for UCF.
At that point, though, UCF, they had the ball for 37 minutes of the game compared to Cincinnati's 22. I mean, that.
Okay, and Cincinnati had just had the ball for a 10 and a 7-play drive to score touchdowns.
They looked gassed. Is the point I'm making? I mean,
were they doing sprints on the sidelines like while the offense was on the field?
No, they were doing it on the field during those 37 minutes.
Well, then don't let the other team march up and down the field on you 8 times.
Yeah.
You're playing into what I just said, though,
right.
Aaron. You're part of the reason you're not getting off the field because you're giving up 7 of 14 on third down, and you're letting them on first and second down control you. Ryan, am I wrong?
No, you got to get off the field. I agree with you. And, I mean, it's the same thing, complementary football. We've talked about it in both losses. When it always seems like when one side of the ball is firing and the other is not. And that could be all in all, or that could be like just playing good combo football in the first half, first quarter. Like maybe sometimes they'll be hitting the second, then we come out in the third quarter, defense can't get off the field, and offense is 3 and out. I think one thing that hurt, you didn't feel the pressure as much from our D-line. I think their O-line did a good job. They did something that no one else in the country has been able to do against our D-line, and it's stop the havoc plays at the rate we were delivering them. I think they also had a good plan that with Mikey Keene to kind of just get the ball out. I think you kind of saw they were able to find like quick access routes. You know, that goes to the luxuries that we had in previous years with Kobe Bryant and Sauce Gardner, where you can just put them out there on an island and just know we're going to be fine and not have to worry about them padding off on any other coverages and just playing 2-on-2 basically, or 3-on-2 or 4-on-2 for us, depending on what coverage we're doing. So yeah, I think what you saw, things catch up to us. And I think we were even luckier than we're even really talking about. I mean, they had 2 like inside the 15 fumbles.
Yeah.
I mean,
one was a good play, one was a gift.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like a rarity. So we could be sitting here getting a 2-score loss and not even having a chance to win. But, you know, you have the ball and you have a great running play by Monty, be able to get in the end zone. And then you put the ball in the defense's hands and you just got to at least just hold them to a field goal. And you're muted.
You're muted.
Get to overtime and see what happens.
Yeah. And a couple of those missed tackles, man, I'm telling you, that makes me nervous because it just seems to happen in waves. The first play, you see 2 missed tackles. Next play, you see another missed tackle. You're like, oh shit, here we go. Like they're gonna march down here. Same thing.
They didn't have a third down.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, like the yards after catch, yards after contact, those guys are getting at least 8 to 12 yards, and just you got to make them snap the ball. Keep making them snap the ball. Time off the clock. Just keep giving yourself chances to just at least hold them to 3. But we couldn't do that. I was talking to some of the guys. They said we were going more just trying to play more hot to try to stop the run because they were getting chunk runs on us and just couldn't find an answer. And I think you saw kind of like our luck kind of ran out there. Normally we've had this Bearcat luck. The past 2 seasons we've been able to squeak one out. And I think just miscues, missed tackles, bad leverage, just kind of we've had problems with over the past couple years, kind of caught up to us and just really bit us in the ass in one big blow. It sucks, but still everything's right in front of us. Win out, you control your own destiny. Might not be able to get a home championship game, but the guys got to keep their heads up and get this shit corrected because there really is everything left right in front of us.
Tonk wants to know, are we just now noticing how much Jabari and Malik meant to this D-line? No, we talked about this the entirety of the offseason and through camp. After them, we don't know really what they have at defensive end. Like
we were surprised with the depth as it was developing, but it was the biggest question mark probably coming into the season.
But what really on the edge were you getting? I mean, Eric Phillips has played okay.
Yeah,
Justin Watley's played okay.
Noah Potter.
I haven't seen much from Noah Potter.
He was playing well at the beginning of the year.
Potter gets held on every single play.
Everybody gets held on every single play.
I'm just saying, it was really bad from up in the booth.
Normally, Jabari and Malik are our leaders. They're our senior leaders. They played the most snaps. And I think the guys that are having to step up and be the starters now, I think they really thrived in those backup roles. I think Malik and Jabari just have kind of like gamer experience, just more natural D-end ability that they could go wear down. Wear them out. Like the O-line's on their heels, then you just bam. All right, Noah Potter, just bull rush, knock you on your ass. And Eric Phillips, same shit. I mean, experience matters, leadership matters. And even though they're on the sidelines, when you don't have the pads and helmets on, it's not the same. So we got to –
reps matter.
Yeah, reps matter.
Well, I think this game is in particular is one where, as we've mentioned, kind of just the fatigue and the overall, amount of times on the field, you are missing that depth, because you are having defensive line that are out there for a while. But overall, it's more of to me, it's just like kind of UCF yet again came into this game and it seemed like they had a complete overhaul, kind of a chance to not really their Super Bowl, but one where they definitely got up a little bit more for. And I mean, it seemed like in the first half, their offense was just throwing all different, misdirections and the jet sweeps were absolutely killing the team. And it seems like that was kind of what was going in at the first half.
So the book's out, right? Don't sit your quarterback in the pocket against this defense because they're coming. Yeah. So get it out quick. Get it jet sweeps. Get it quick hitters. Yeah. Get it, take one step and throw an 8-yard dig. Like, that's not a surprise. Like
no, but
we should have known, especially immediately after the Tulsa game. Everybody was going to look and go, all right, got to get it out quick. Don't sit back there. Don't let them get a chance to pin their ears back. And that's where it's hurt that the offense hasn't been able to really start fast because they've never put the defense in a position to pin their ears back and start going after somebody.
Same thing goes right back to Kobe and
complimentary football.
Just being able to just stick them right on their guys, and it's a luxury that we knew was going to catch up to us. We didn't know if it was going to cost us a game. If we have Kobe and Ahmad out there, I think that whole last game winning drive by them, I mean, it just goes completely out the window. But you gotta play with the guys you got. You gotta make adjustments. It just shows how Gus Malzahn is an excellent coach. He won a national championship at Auburn, and he made a great scheme. He schemed us up from all of our weaknesses in the previous weeks, and they came out. They were ready to go, and we just weren't. We just weren't ready to come right back at them.
I'm curious, Ryan. Do you think we underestimated the impact of what getting smacked around at ECU would do for UCF this week? Because they looked exceptionally motivated from minute one in that game.
Plus, it was homecoming.
Yeah. They have a
Does
great.
homecoming matter? Do you guys care?
It's just more energy on campus. I think it's more just playing us. I mean, I think this has been the game for both teams that we look forward to every year. I think we've gotten their number and the past couple years, and I think that sticks with them. I mean, we beat the shit out of them last year. You know that their coaches are harping on that all off season, and because they're a good staff. Malzahn is a great coach. He has a good staff. They have a good scheme, and they got their asses kicked last week, and any good football staff, any good coaching staff is going to come in and make sure their guys are ready to play. And that's exactly what they did. They obviously fixed their mistakes, and they honed in on our mistakes and exposed us.
So were the corners playing off more to stop the jet sweeps that they were doing in the first half? Because it did seem like, because even on, like, I think it was 3rd and 7, and it's like we gave them 8 yards just right off the line. It just seemed like they went to that quick hitter a lot on the outside, and then you break one tackle and you're picking up 12, 15 yards.
Yeah, I mean, Mikey Keene, I give him credit. He was throwing the ball hard, right on the money, making our guys have to make that tackle in space, getting it out there quick so that you can kind of expose that cushion. Mm-hmm. Most of the guys that were talking about the last couple drives where they were trying to stop the run more. They felt like they couldn't really stop the run. They wanted to get a TFL, trying to get some clock, chew the clock a little bit. So we were playing more hot, which is kind of just off back, kind of like sit and wait, and kind of like in a zone coverage type thing. So obviously, like, that's not ideal for pass quick hitting concepts, but
a lot of
got to
the
make
time,
a play.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong. It feels like a lot of the time in Tressel's defense, they press the boundary and they give, like Kobe gave a lot of cushion last year at the field. And it looked like that's where they were cycling those digs, those quick 8-yard, take one step, turn, throw it, was on the field side where they were giving a little bit of room, just the way that it's very difficult, especially if you don't have NFL safeties, to play press man across the board, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. They do tend to play more cushion to the field. They did it with Kobe, and obviously Kobe's an NFL caliber corner, and you're going to get some better coverage than what we're getting now, and just shows kind of big games, big moments. Maybe we don't have that experience that Kobe, Ahmad, and the secondaries had the past couple of years. It's that luxury, but these guys, they got to learn. They're young. They got to learn from their mistakes, and they got to just make the plays. They got to be aware. They got to be ready to react. And especially if you see that, if you're seeing the same thing a lot in that second half, it's on the coaches, on the players to make that adjustment. Mm-hmm. Just wish they could have done it.
And you mentioned Kobe, obviously, because last year, I mentioned Mikey Keene in the beginning, but this is the first game he's played all year. I think UCF's doing a thing where they have that true freshman quarterback who's, they're trying to probably retain his redshirt eligibility. So he's got 4 games already under his belt. This is the first time that Mikey's seen the field all season. And so when the first time you're on the field, you're going to have an entire half to play against a team that pretty much embarrassed you last year. I'm sure that fired him up a little bit. And you saw he had a scramble where he picked up a first down, and he was like right on his sideline. He was like yelling at his team on the sideline. And, when you have that little added extra oomph in you, and that, hey, if I'm going to throw this quick dig out here, I don't have Kobe Bryant, Jim Thorpe Award winner, jumping the route and taking it 70 yards for a touchdown. I've got some guys that, probably aren't used to seeing what we're throwing at them right now. So I don't know. It seemed like it was a bit of a, like, he played his heart out. This is a me against the world type game for him, which I think adds something to what he's going to do. And I don't know, I'm not saying it messed with the psyche of the Bearcats at all, but more, they probably knew, okay, backup's Mikey Keene. We dominated him last year, and it's no longer John Reese Plumlee who can run the shit out of the ball. It's now going to be Mikey Keene. So let's just hone in on what we can do. But I don't know. It just seemed like him coming in with a bit of an edge kind of helped them. But even though at the start of the second half, we kind of dominated defensively as well. It's just the whole thing is just very strange to me. But I don't know. It seemed as if when the offense played with urgency, we were clicking. And then when the defense had to play with urgency is when we kind of struggled a little bit. I don't know if that has to do with anything more than, end of the game scenario, but I don't know. A lot of adjustments need to be made. I don't know if the whole sack artist thing where number one sack team in the country kind of spoils any thoughts, or, if they're hunting sacks at times, or if it's kind of just honing in. I'm not too sure how to really dissect that, but it just seems as if there was a lot of question marks and everything on the defensive side, but which also, as you mentioned, you saw some formations defensively where they had all three safeties on the field at the same time with Marion Smith deep as like a solo safety in the back. I don't know if that's something they probably practiced on the entire time.
We haven't seen much three safety.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So I haven't seen much of that. Yeah.
I went back and sadly rewatched the highlights of the game, the extended ones. And Armarion was in the game early. He was out there in the first quarter. So I'm not sure if maybe they were trying to rotate at safety and say, hey, we're going to go with this three safety look. I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
Clearly a wrinkle.
Amarion's been doing really well. He's been practicing really well. He's been just going really hard, and he's showing up. And this is what some of the guys in the safety room are telling me, that they're trying to get him reps because they think he's earned it. And maybe they're just trying to find they're trying to find packages to get him on the field. I'm fine with that. Anyone who plays as hard like that, same thing with threats. Like, I want him out on the field, but it comes to show maybe it comes in a game like this, you're maybe not be expecting something like that. It might be throwing us off a little bit, but you want the guy out there in big moments if he's earned it. I can't say that's like costing us the game or anything, but but just go back on that. Kind of already talking about Mikey Keene. I think he was a guy. He stepped up and did his role. I think the coaches put him in a great role. They said quick access. We're not going to let him feel pressure. We're going to kind of try to expose some of the weaknesses, and that's what they did. I mean, I don't think Mikey Keene stepped up there and was playing like Patrick Mahomes or anything. No, right. Just made the good throws, played hard, and stepped up. And credits to him, credits to the coaches for doing that to him. But we got to know that he wasn't in there like doing anything crazy to beat us. It's just us kind of not stepping up into the moment and shutting them down. So I don't know. It's just tough because you say to yourself, a backup quarterback comes in and beats you, and this is supposed to be like, that's not supposed to happen. You got to step up and find a way to get it done.
How difficult is it midstream to change a game plan, Ryan? Because that's what you have to do. He's not running. Mikey Keene, that's why he's not the quarterback at UCF, is because Gus Malzahn wants his quarterback to run. So how hard is it midstream to say, okay, they're going to run, but they're not going to run like we thought they were going to run. It's going to be more conventional, at least in theory, and they're going to throw quite a bit more, or at least, that's going to be part of who he is as a player. It can't be easy just midstream to be like, all right, we got to do everything we worked on this week is kind of out the window.
Normally it's not that hard. We got great coaches. We got great players that have been in a lot of scenarios, and maybe that's the difference this year. We don't have a lot of experience, but normally it's, we got guys, they've seen everything. Like college football, you see a lot of very similar concepts. So in reality, you're kind of like prepped for a lot of different things, except when it comes to maybe like the triple option. But we got great coaches. They make adjustments at halftime. They're really good. I mean, on the sideline, every drive, they're back there scheming things up. I mean, I don't think it's anything to blame on that. I think our guys knew what they had to do. I think they're capable of it. They just didn't execute. And I think the D-line, not having that pressure and like not being able to stop the run as well as normal, I think that really hurts you. And it just shows their offense did a good job to try to eliminate that. Let's eliminate their pressure. Let's eliminate their havoc plays by getting the ball out, getting free access, and just kind of trying to expose little things we've been struggling with all year.
it feels like they game plan for Ivan Pace really well, but yet somehow Ivan still had a quiet 11 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss.
You're not going to stop him.
I mean, just
Right.
Well, the other thing is also when they run 85 plays, there's going to be a lot of tackles.
Yeah. There is
a lot of tackles on 85 plays.
It's
just saying.
He did pile up some tackles, but I think they did a good job not letting him being as disruptive as he normally is. A lot of those tackles came.
He's not going to be disruptive on free access, right, Ryan?
No, there's not enough time. Not enough time to get back there.
Well, I even met on some of like the jet sweeps where like normally
they did a good job.
Like ready for the tackle. It seemed like they were doing a lot of motion to get him like away from the play and away from where they were going to go, and it kind of.
I don't think Ivan played bad at all, but
no.
you're gonna rack up tackles playing Mike in that defense. No. They're gonna set him up to make plays, especially if they're on the field a lot. And what Ivan's been able to do, you normally feel him in the game. You can feel his presence. He's a havoc machine, and you didn't really feel that because they did a good job. They had a good scheme, and there, maybe that in that kind of scenario, that's not really going to be Ivan's game to go out and win for us. Other guys got to step up and make big plays, make havoc plays, get pass breakups, get picks. Maybe D-line's got to get their hands up. They know they're not going to get the rush. Get your arms up. Try to get bat down balls. That was something Mailbag was really, really good at.
Yep.
You're not really seeing that as much this year, but you got to find ways to adapt and make plays when in different ways the offense presenting them to you.
Yeah. Land big.
This has been asked a couple times. Have you seen this, Ryan, where Wiley in motion, like I'm guessing what they're talking about or what RG3 was talking about. He didn't go back and expand on it, but like when Wiley motions into that kind of H-back fullback spot, it's a run. When he's out wide, it's a pass. Like, are you noticing any trends there that defenses can pick up on?
I mean, I know defense are really good now at picking up the skip play we run on offense where he skips across and it becomes that like RPO option. And I think we've been running that for a lot for 3 years, and I think that's a staple kind of.
It's the Josiah DeGuara play. Josiah's been in the NFL for like 7 years now.
Yeah, I think
Aaron Rodgers still won't throw to him.
Yeah, the Packers got their own problems going right now, but I think it's just something. Wiley, he's a guy they're going to key on, and he's an NFL caliber guy. He's one of our best players, and they're going to have eyes on him on film every single week and be like, all right, what's he doing? How's he lining up? Because they're trying to find any way to expose any tendency. So when you're using like you got to try to not expose your big players. You can't have high tendencies for them. So you got to find ways to have very similar alignment, very similar stance, very similar. You got to try to make every single play look as identical as you can when it comes to formation. Because defenses, I mean, we'll pick up on guys like if their hand is like an inch further out in their stance, we're gonna find that, and we can find anything. So
what sucks is RG3 didn't finish his point.
Yeah,
because we don't know. Like a couple of people have asked this. Okay, so maybe he, as a quarterback, he saw something on tape, but then he never went back to us to tell us what he saw. So it's impossible to try to get in his head and assume what he was seeing.
Yeah, I didn't really catch what he said exactly. Do you remember? Maybe I could.
He basically just said there's Cincinnati's got to tell with Wiley when they motion him whether it's going to be run or pass, and then he's like, I'll get back to that later.
I mean, if he's saying it, if he's saying it, then it's definitely a thing. They definitely know exactly. I haven't studied Wiley's alignment, but I know that if some announcer is picking up on it, then UCF definitely is picking up on it, and everyone else is.
My guess is when he goes into that fullback H-back position, the read is run.
Yeah,
because I can't recall a time where he's motioned to the middle of the line, taken a step back, and then they've thrown the ball.
Yeah.
Well, that was like Blue Smith when he was outside early in the season. It was run every single time. And then they were like, oh, maybe we should pass out of this formation from time to time.
Mhm. Yeah. And I mean, there's sometimes it's just the offense is going, this is what we want to run. And we're just going to go mano y mano. We're going to run the ball. And we have the hats on guys who want to have hats on. We just got to make the play and get 3 to 5 yards or whatever they're looking for. And sometimes you just get beat at the line and it doesn't work out. Maybe with that Wiley H-back thing, I know one thing that was really hard on linebackers was kind of like he kind of goes through the B gap, acting like he's going to go up to the linebacker, but just keeps running straight vertical for a little pop pass. I know that is super hard. I mean, if Gino's listening, I'm sure they got it in. But I know that's a super hard concept to handle as a defense. But you never know. You got to find ways to switch things up. You got to eliminate tendencies. You got to study that, because if RG3 is seeing it, that everyone else is seeing it.
Towards the end of the game, while I went in motion, yes, and if it's something as simple as tip of the hand a little bit, is that going to be too much of an effect for the entire defense to make that last second change? Sure, to probably stop Wiley or to get another hat in the box, but it's probably something that's fixable if it's really getting noticed that much. I wanted to wrap up defensive talk and then we'll move over to offense real quick. This doesn't happen often where the defense lets up over 500 yards and loses. I don't know. What would you guys say is this
You said that doesn't happen often? That they give up 500 yards and lose?
Yeah.
I would think both. I would think both of those things would happen often. If you give up over 500.
No, they've only lost 9 times.
I meant
in 5 years.
They haven't done it a lot.
Okay. I thought you meant if the 500 yards happens, they don't often lose.
No way.
No, he was saying they don't give up 500 yards often and they don't lose often.
That's
right. But there's a singular thing that you guys would if you put your Mike Tressel cap on or whatnot, it's a singular thing you want to see just improved, just defensively.
Containing the edge, but without Malik, who's not coming back, and Jabari, who's now dealing with a soft tissue issue.
Yeah.
I think
what's the answer to containing the edge?
I think it's easier. I think containing the edge is something way more fixable. That's a fundamental concept. I think all those guys are capable of doing that. Maybe when it comes to, we might not have as dynamic and as effective as a pass rush now because we're a little bit thinner and we're lacking that leadership. But I think something we got to clean up is missed tackles. I think it kills the defense. It kills momentum. And it literally, like, I guess it gave them that drive to score a touchdown, all those missed tackles. I mean, even on the last run, you could get that guy down at the 4-yard line. And if you can stop the run from there, that's hell for an offense. I mean, that's money. It's just, you could say that's what won them the game was that drive. And if you can just, as bad as we played, if you can just tackle those guys a couple times, we might have squeaked out of there with that old Bearcat luck. But I think we gotta fix that. It kills the defense.
Yeah,
G-Mac, thanks for the donation. Don't understand why Lenny and Josh aren't utilized more. I thought they utilized Josh quite a bit.
Finally,
Lenny had a drop that was a killer. They went back.
He did have
to
that
him.
one good catch, though.
Yeah. And Bush, it's part of. We talked about it a little bit earlier. The assignment on the field is a lot different than the assignment on the boundary. And that field corner, they're not pressing. They're not playing double press. They are not pressing boundary and field. They're asking the field to be a little bit farther off the line. He can't get up in there and be physical and make plays with his hands. That allows free release. That's what Ryan is talking about when he says free access, where the defense sees the corner is 6-7 yards off the line of scrimmage. He's going to backpedal instinctively when the ball is snapped. So you've got a 6 or 7 yard cushion. Some teams don't really try to focus on taking advantage of that because there is a risk if the corner doesn't backpedal and drives that he's going to be able to jump the route and get a pick. But for UCF, clearly in their game plan, Ryan, I thought it was obvious. They had scouted. He is not driving on that play consistently or regularly. So we're going to take the free 8.
Yeah,
we're gonna take it, especially when Mikey Keene came in, more so than when Plumlee was in. We're gonna take the 1 step, turn, throw, 7 yards, and then what started happening is that 7 yards, missed tackle. Now it's 12. Now it's 15.
Right.
And now you're talking about a free release 6 or 7 yard play becoming a chunk play.
That's easy. I mean, that's easy for a quarterback.
Right. They didn't make it difficult on Mikey Keene. That was painfully obvious.
Yeah, I don't think in the way you got to maybe play more cover 2, play more press on the outside, try to eliminate that free access. The problem is I'm not on the sideline. I don't know what's exactly being called, and you can't really see everything from that camera angle. So I don't know. I can't make an exact assumption on what was being called, but I will say this: Arquan was more of a guy who excels playing more up and tight. Like he did that at a nickel, and they started him out to the boundary this year, and it's kind of seemed like they've rotated him back over towards the field. I don't know why they're doing that. Maybe they feel that just gives them the best 5 guys out there or 4 guys, whatever package they're in. I don't know exactly. I haven't gotten that info. I could try to ask around this week, but like I said, I think Arquan does better up tight, and they're kind of asking him to play a position that he hasn't, not that he's bad at, but he's just not got reps at.
Well, no matter how good. And Kobe's a perfect example to the opposite, right? Because right before Sauce emerged, that entire offseason, Kobe was at the boundary, and they were asking him to play press, and that wasn't his strength, right?
Yeah.
And when they put him back at field and allowed him to play more into his strength, he became
Jim Thorpe
Award winner, right? Like, I do think Arquan is probably a guy that's more comfortable getting up there.
He's physical.
Being physical and playing with his hands. And when you ask him to play off, like I'm almost inclined, Ryan, to wonder if it's not better to put Arquan back at nickel. Because I just don't think Field suits. Like I don't think it's his natural.
Maybe. What would they do? Shep to the field.
Shep has done a phenomenal job at the boundary.
I thought Shep had a good game.
Shep was great, I thought, against UCF.
So I don't think you're looking to move Shep from the boundary. The question becomes, who would play the field? Is it Justin Harris? Is it Todd
Sammy
Bumpus?
Or Taj?
Sammy's been in the nickel.
Well,
so he hasn't spent a bunch of time. Sammy hasn't spent a bunch of time
out there.
To where, like, is Sammy ready to play the field when he hasn't played the field since last year as like a third string field?
Yeah, he emerged as a nickel. That was something that's his little niche is nickel. So something about playing nickel really elevated his games.
Fickle talked about it with him. He thought it was like kind of basketball related, is that he has that short area quickness that you need in the nickel to like reroute and be able to move with smaller, shiftier slot guys. I'm just spitballing in terms. It could be because the answer is probably you leave him at field because you don't have.
That is the answer,
an obvious answer that is a natural playing that field corner position.
Yeah, I think Arquan's a guy who's been there, who's got experience, who's got a lot of talent. That it's just going to be they're just going to have to make some adjustments, and he'll figure it out. He'll have everything fixed. They'll be the great coaches, great players, and they're gonna figure it out. Just sucks that we lost a fucking game. Like that was part of the reason, It's just that quick access bullshit, not being able to figure it out. Wish you could sit here.
Leaned on it.
Yeah.
I felt like Cincinnati kind of replicated that on their last touchdown drive as well, where they were running quick outs and just doing everything they could, just dump the ball off fast.
And that's another thing. Taj has been really good.
Yeah.
the combo of Taj and Sammy have been very good at
Really
nickel.
good. Yeah.
So if you move Arquan to nickel, you're taking both of those guys off the field, because I think you'd agree with me here, Ryan. If you move Arquan to nickel, he's not coming off the field.
No.
And Taj and Sammy probably aren't field corners.
Yeah.
So
JQ
guys,
isn't a field corner either.
Right. And they've tried JQ there a little bit, and he's a
he's
big,
in a mod.
long, he's a big, long, get my hands on you boundary. So it's interesting. They have 5-6 really good corners. I just don't know that any of them are a good fit as a field corner for what this defense wants to do, which puts you in a tough spot when teams see the tape and figure it out. And I think that's potentially what happened with UCF is they, now nothing you do really is a secret, right? There's 8 games on tape. Like, you're not sneaking up on anybody really with anything.
Nope. This is when like being a gamer, a coach and player really comes into it, reacting, adapting, making plays. And it's crunch time. This is the end of the season. It's November football now. This is when championships are won. And like I said before, this is like every chance right in front of them. They got ECU, who beat the shit out of the team that we just lost to. Got Navy, who's always tough. They're, the triple option. And then Tulane, who's playing really well this year. You got everything right in front of you to go get yourself in the championship game. You just got to make the adjustants.
And then that trip
I wanted
against the pesky Owls, too. Don't forget.
Oh, yeah, Temple. Forgot that one.
They're so bad.
I did want to get to one other thing, Royer.
Yep.
This team has played 2 games at Nippert against FBS competition. They played one against Kennesaw State, obviously, Indiana, and Tulsa. Every other game has been on the road, 5 of 8. How much does that play into this team maybe still struggling and searching for an identity? Because maybe if that's flipped, or maybe if it's 4-4, you've had an extra game or 2 at home to build confidence, to build continuity, to build what you're trying to become. So you have this season where you lost 9 guys to the NFL. You lost 5 assistant coaches, including your offensive coordinator and your special teams coordinator. And there's so much turnover and
wait, can I interrupt real quick? Just you mentioned that. I like special teams. I know you guys know Coach Mason. I think that losing Coach Mason has been a big hurt. I think Coach Mason
not really. They've been great on special teams in every phase.
I know. I just
but what you're getting to is what Coach Mason meant in ways other than punt return and field goal, and he was one of Luke's lieutenants.
He's a great coach, and I will say I don't think I've spoken to the guys. The schemes on the units aren't nearly as sophisticated, elaborate, and what's another word? Aggressive, I guess. And I mean, maybe we could have a couple more big plays on special teams, maybe a couple more punt blocks, or maybe some more explosive returns. You never know. I mean, Coach, I'm just saying that I think we do miss Coach Mason a lot.
Yeah, I turned to Aaron during the game at one point. I was like, I don't think that will. I've not seen it where our punt block has not been as close as, because normally every single time the last couple of years it looks like on punt block it's like a half second away from getting.
They've also had 3 roughing or running into the punter,
right? Which is like, I don't know if that's
eventually that's going to make you back off,
right? But those normally seem like they're the ones that come around the edge. It seems like most of the time when it's a block, it's right up the middle. Yeah. So I don't know if that's a scheme thing or what, but I turned to Aaron. I was like, maybe the days of the punt block are over. We don't see any.
Ryan would be able to answer that.
There's no Ethan Tuckey out there or Ryan Royer out there.
I also don't see it.
What are you eating? Is it good?
I haven't ate dinner. I'm trying to eat dinner.
What do you have? What do you
I had a slice of pizza.
The gabagool.
Oh, it's Adriatico's little Soprano action. I love it, man.
Do you know the secret?
What's the secret?
You know why the sauce tastes like it tastes?
Well, you're setting yourself up here.
But it's got a kick, right?
Yeah.
It's banana pepper juice when they make in the sauce, they pour banana pepper juice in it.
Oh, really?
And that's what makes it a little spicy.
I like it.
The
Yeah.
pepperoncini.
It's delicious. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I do. I just discovered how good their wings are. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they changed them or I just never remembered, but their wings are some of my favorite I've had around here.
I thought you were talking about the punt return team's wings. I was like, interesting.
No, but back to that, I'm not seeing some of the guys up the middle that we've had in the past that have done a good job.
It seems like their aggression has been on the outside and not straight up the gut. That's what we were getting at.
We had Wiley, we had Huber, that were coming up anywhere in the B and the C.
Royer.
Yeah, me. Name drop myself there. But it just seems like, I don't know, maybe they've made a decision this year to change it up. I'm not sure. But I think the way we used to do it was better than it is, and it got more results. But
maybe it's a Monty thing, too, with just know you've got as good of a punt returner as him back there. It's like, let's not screw it up. Let's just get him, and he'll pick up another 10 yards to 15 yards, and we'll be set up just fine. So, yeah, just something I saw. Just wrapping up defense real quick. This might be, the whole missed tackling part, or sharpen up the tackling. It seemed like in a lot of short yardage situation on Saturday, they just struggled to get a stop at the line of scrimmage countless times. It seemed like a running hole was open the first 3 yards, and they would end up picking up 4 or 5 and either move the chains or get a good first down play. So kind of just a short yardage situation, especially against Navy right off the bat. You got to really shore those up. And like we said, it's probably a lot of tackling too that needs to be sharpened as well. So that's the defensive side of things. Offensively, scored 21 points. Obviously had the really good drive, a couple of really good drives in the second half there. But outside of that, man, a lot of 3-and-outs, a lot of head scratching. I don't know, man. Offensively, it seems as if, we've mentioned identity and things like that. The ground game was not there at all. There was that touchdown run by Ryan Montgomery during the fourth quarter tripled their rushing total on the day. I don't know if that's another scheme thing or if they,
sacks too, getting sacked.
Right. And maybe they weren't controlling the line of scrimmage or what that was, but and then you're putting a lot of pressure on Ben Bryant to make plays in the pocket as well. So just some open-ended, what you guys are thinking as far as this goes offensively after this game. Aaron, I'll pass it down to you, and then we'll go around the ring.
I know we talked already about how much this team misses Bari and Leak on the defensive line, but I think yesterday was where you truly saw how much this team misses Jake Renfro. And I think that having everybody shifting that one spot has kind of created just a mismatch. I don't know how else to say it. Like, you couldn't run the ball. And when
Garrett was at the Holy Grail, and spent some time talking to him about like what he's seeing, and he doesn't think, for whatever reason, the communication as a unit is at that highest level. Like not just in the run game where they're getting beat, but like stunts, loops.
Mm-hmm.
Delayed, like every time I see a linebacker delay a blitz, I know they're getting to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Like every time you see a defensive end loop around a tackle and come into, the opposite gap, they're going to get to the quarterback. Like that is a communication factor, right? Like that is, for whatever reason,
the middle three guys just not being on the same page.
That's where not having Jake so I think Gerhard has done an incredible job.
Yeah.
For a guy that never played center until they needed him to play center last year, and being thrown into a starting spot, but he doesn't have that natural like thought process of a center of, this is my right hand, this is my left hand.
Like I think you're trying to say his physical ability has been great, but maybe that mental side, communication side is where he's lacking from Jake.
You know what it seems a lot to me like, Ryan? It seems like a lot of the kids that come over from Africa for basketball that, they had a growth spurt, all of a sudden they're 6'8", and somebody's like, hey man, you should, and they're athletic and they have great footwork because they've been playing soccer all their lives, and they get over here and they're good, but they don't have any basketball IQ.
Yeah.
Because it's not something they've been doing their whole life.
Yeah.
Gavin Gerhardt's been playing football his whole life, but center is such a different animal.
Oh, it's so hard. It's such a big.
It just feels like there's like a disconnect here.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And what also
is
you'll explain it better than me.
Yeah. So, and what I'm noticing too is that it seems like teams are doing the same thing every week, and we're not getting it corrected.
Not getting any better at it. Yeah.
That's making me think that I know it's getting coached. I think it's when it comes down to it and you're in that situation and you're not comfortable, your brain is firing to do everything so fast and just react to anything. So when you're playing center and you're comboing, you're focused on one guy, and you're kind of like in that, I'm in a big game, I'm playing center, still not super comfortable here. You're just reacting, and you're not like, you don't have that periph going. You don't have that wherewithal, that experience, that communication skill to be able to pick up those stunts, pick up those delayed blitzes. And that's what's making me think that it's kind of like just going back to that uncomfortability. I just don't think Gavin is super comfortable there. He might be physically capable, and he's shown that. I think comfortability is starting to get exposed because I know they're coaching him up, and I know he knows what to do. It just shows how intense and how quick and how just Division I football at the highest level can really expose people's lack of experience and lack of communication skills. And I think that lack of communication skills is directly tied to his lack of experience at center.
Well, I'm just saying, and also when you've been playing center your whole life, those, the Jake Renfro's of the world, just the simple shotgun snap is something that's just second nature to you. You're able to just fire it in there over and over again. I saw, probably a handful where, and this Gavin, like we've all said, has done a phenomenal job filling in at the center position. It's one of the hardest jobs, but with the quarterback like Ben, having him bend down to pick up some low snaps every once in a while, that just adds a little, half second to each play. Adds a little bit, little bit longer in the pocket because Ben's not
takes his eyes off his read.
Right. Yeah. And it's a guy that's, he's not going to get out of the pocket much at all. So it's, the second you get down and you look back up and you're 1 second into the play already, it adds to things as well. So I don't know.
And doesn't that often happen because the center's trying to maybe overcompensate?
It's all related. It's all related.
So he's looking, sees like a linebacker coming up, and he's worried about the linebacker. He's thinking about letting his guard know the read. And then by the time he puts his head down to snap, the ball goes a little bit low.
Yeah, and then next time he's thinking about not snapping the ball too low. Right. And then it's immediately, then he's not getting that key. And that just shows how crucial the center position is and how having anyone that's not comfortable there, it's just going to make it 20 times more difficult. And you're seeing that problem with Gavin. I may not be speaking entirely accurate on the situation. I don't know, but that's just my opinion. I think Gavin's a great kid, great football player.
This is not a shot at Gavin at all. It's acknowledging the challenge of playing a guy that's center. Like Gavin has talked about this in Bearcat Journal interviews.
Out of position.
When they came to him and said, have you played center ever in your life? The answer was no.
But he's a gamer and wanted to get on the field. So
well, and he's a team guy that he could have been selfish and been like, I'm not that's not what I'm comfortable. But like if you need me to do it, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna learn it. And he busted his ass and he learned it and he's good at it. But there are finer points of that position that they're natural. Like
it's also
at a young age.
It's also a trickle down effect. So
yeah, you gotta remember in football, if you're gonna talk about the three most important positions on the field, we're outside of like special teams, it's quarterback, center, middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Like those are the key. It's the hub of
safety
everything.
Has become kind of a de facto middle linebacker at places too, right? That strong safety.
Yeah, because we communicate a lot with our boundary safety and our defense. So they become, but in terms of just overall, just getting the offense, defense set up, like specifically for offense, you got the quarterback. He's calling the plays. He's getting everyone in motion. Then while he's doing all that, that center is directing everything and centering, like literally in the word, centering everything up for the offense, getting them everything set and ready to rock. So, and just to speak on Renfro, he was capable mentally and physically to do that his freshman year and drove out
true freshman year.
Yeah, true freshman, drove out a legitimate Remington Award candidate in Jakari.
Right.
And that just like, you can't replicate that no matter how good Gavin does physically and putting himself in the right spot and being able to block well. Like you'll never be able to replicate Jake, and it's starting to show.
Nothing to do with Gavin.
No, nothing to do with Gavin.
Again, this is not taking anything away from what Gavin has done. It's just talking about the importance of
Jake.
Like, they were so excited to have Gavin and Jake at center, Gavin at guard. Like they were so fired up about that combo because they love those two kids so much.
For good reason,
right.
And listen, we're only talking about one thing here. We're just talking about the run game and blitz pickup here. Like that's not what lost us the game.
No.
So I don't want us to be
people have jumped down my throat because we don't deep dive into what we think the problems are, like where they are coming from.
Yeah, this is a problem. It's not the only problem,
right?
And it's not all Gavin too. Like
no,
it's everybody,
Yeah.
Just want to make sure, like I don't want we're harping on him a lot just to make sure that
you tell Dio that. I'm not telling Dio that.
tell Dio to fix that shit, man. Tell Luke Combs to get that shit straight now.
I'll tell Dio. Gavin said when the 3 technique is just coming straight at you, you have to realize it's because the 5 technique on the opposite side is looping, and you got to be ready for that 5 technique to be filling that gap.
Hey, and the other thing, Dylan played tackle last year. Now he's playing guard, and that guard is working hand in hand with the center. They're talking to each other. Like that's another spot where people are out of position. And I think it's starting to get exposed to the lack of comfortability on that offensive line. Not a lack of talent, not a lack of care or play hard ability. I think it's starting.
They just were put in a shit spot when Gavin got hurt days before the start of the season. Jake got hurt days before the start of the season.
But also remember when O'Quinn came in for his first start was also Jake Renfro's first start at center. So that's another comfortability. When he did play guard, he had Jake right next to him. So just another thing added in there. Yeah, Gavin's been great, but yes, there's some things that need fine tuning. Aaron, good job, man. You kind of knocked that one out of the park with one glaring weakness. Another thing for me, offensively, it seemed like when they played with urgency, when they kind of amped it up a little bit and played kind of a hurry up type look, they were clicking, and it seemed like they were picking up big yardage. They were able to move the chains, move the sticks over and over again. I don't know if this is something maybe. I know you can't do a 2-minute drill an entire game, but I don't know. Maybe they see something where if they do go a little bit more urgent instead of trying to slow it down, and not necessarily slow down, but just kind of have their own tempo to the game and kind of control it in the trenches and whatnot. It seemed like when they opened things up, especially in the fourth quarter and at the end of the third quarter leading into the fourth as well, it just, I don't know, it just seemed like they kind of had a little bit more click to them, and they were able to connect.
I'd like to see more tempo.
Chains. Yeah. Just seemed like that's when they were able to fire on all cylinders.
Well, and tempo doesn't even necessarily mean NASCAR, where it has to be breakneck speed.
Yeah.
But like tempo, like get back to the line of scrimmage, get your guys set, and get ready to run another play. Don't substitute.
Right.
Don't, just put the pressure on the defense to guard you. I would definitely like to see more tempo offensively, because it feels like Ben is a little more comfortable navigating that situation.
Yeah, and when you don't substitute, that's really hard on defense. One, because it's fast, hard to get up the line, and two, because offense knows what personnel you're in, and they know what you're capable of doing in that certain personnel. So you can kind of manipulate a defense by keeping a certain package on the field. So I just thought I'd highlight that.
It was what we did on that last touchdown drive, and that was one of the few adjustments I felt like they made in the second half that worked really well.
Well, and especially now, because like you guys are saying, it not only does a substitution, it allows the defense to make a substitution on their end as well. We do that a lot defensively.
Oh yeah, we take
whenever there's one sub, we wait and then we send someone to just eat up. Clock, give a rest.
Briggs is my favorite.
Yeah,
when they
take
Briggs out, Briggs has the slowest. Like, he walks faster than he jogs off the field.
Dude, I've always wondered, like,
they teach him that too.
Yeah, it's on purpose.
Can they snap the ball before
because the official, when you substitute, the official stands behind the center,
right,
and does not allow you to get into your play until that guy's off the field.
But there's been some super close ones.
There's some. I mean, there's obviously if you're like, you can't just like snail off the field and get a delay game on the offense. That would be a penalty on us.
Yeah. That's why you have to look like you're jogging.
Yeah. Yep.
But
there's a line, and we toe it because they teach them that because it gives us our guys. Yeah, you can breathe, like get some rest in between plays of an offense trying to. You've been on the field for a while, and the offense is trying to go a little bit quicker tempo. But
and it does speed up the clock inside of the offense's head as well. But I like it because also you saw in that last drive where Ryan Montgomery had the rushing touchdown where the defense was reacting to the pass, to how we were able to move the chains and able to pick up big gains through the air. And then they kind of had that look where all of a sudden they were geared up for the pass, and we just handed it off to Ryan, and he had a big hole instead of slowing.
They did like a misdirection. What did they simulate? They did some sort of like misdirectional block that it just did something, and their linebackers just completely bit on and opened up the middle of the field completely wide open. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know we did some sort of like kind of exotic like scheme for some reason that middle of the field opened up. We got those linebackers right out of there. I'd have to go back and watch the highlight of it, but I just remember seeing that pop at, like, it stood out immediately to me. Like, I was like, oh shit, like that was a good scheme up by the O.
Yeah. I'm pulling it up now, and I'll let you know what I see. But yeah, I don't know. It did seem like when they did speed it up like that, and it's not necessarily like a breakneck speed.
All right, Ryan, let's get your
organs of the world.
Let's get your ability to break down film ready to go here.
All right.
Nope, that is not the one I wanted. Great job by me on that. There we go.
Let's see it, Chatty B.
Are we ready here? Yes, it is pulled up. And
yeah, the Wiley. Yep.
You want to mute that?
Emotion.
There we go. Tell us what we're seeing, Ryan. Right here.
Chad, you want to mute that video or we may get pulled on.
Oh, yeah. All right, Let's go back to the start, Ryan.
Yep.
Wiley's coming in motion across the formation.
Yeah, so I think what they're doing here is they're giving that skip play that I was talking about earlier. They're giving the skip play look. So they're treating that D end is doing an RP, the D end of the field, which Ben is looking at. They're making him think he's in the RPO again. And so what they're getting is that safety who's responsible for Wiley. You see him kind of right there. Yeah, him. He's thinking, I'm running right to Wiley. I'm going to go stop that RPO. So he's beelining for the flats to the field. And all they're telling Wiley is let's chip this DN just to make sure he's not getting in on Monty. And they're like, all right, we're going to have the safety out of position and we're going to have.
Now he's flat-footed.
Yeah, he's flat-footed. And we're going to have that backer to the boundary basically here. So now
they got one-on-one with Monty and the deep safety.
Yeah, and honestly, here.
But look at the domination by the O-line, though.
Great. Go back to the beginning one more time. Play it there. I don't know what that. Maybe that honestly, this shouldn't have happened because that boundary backer just did a terrible job.
Which one's the boundary backer?
Not the boundary backer. Him. Who's not responsible for Josh. Yeah, I shouldn't say boundary, but we're thinking, all right, this is going to be a good 4, 5, 6 yard play, fall forward, and it turns into a touchdown.
He pretty clearly read inside zone to the
little fake RPO chip action with Josh. So
and that's breaking down video on the BBP.
Classic zigged when he should have zagged.
Yeah, that's all. That's
why you're here.
Backer. Yeah. All on the Mike backer. Hey, Monty.
The Mike backer and the safety that bit too hard, got flat-footed, and had no chance as Monty was running past him.
Yeah.
You know what, though? Sadly, after that, I thought, okay, see, that's what
I thought it was over.
Team does under Luke Fickell. They make the plays at the end when they need to, and then they're going to get a defensive stop, and then we're going to roll out of Orlando with our happiness on our side still and put out another crazy video, and then finally we would have been able to pump the Josh Wiley gritty video as much as it deserves to be pumped. But
you
now
can't pump that shit when you lose.
Now we got to keep it in the archive.
He got killed on the pregame show tonight.
There you go.
His gritty got destroyed on the pregame show tonight.
Oh, he just went straight. What is it? Giuseppe? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's what he was making fun of or imitating.
Yeah, I like it because Josh has got some moves.
Josh
can gritty. Josh can gritty.
Yeah, he can actually. He's doing that just to be a clown.
Well, because he did it in the beginning and it looked good. But
yeah, I like that at the beginning because he was dancing on him last year.
He hit the
I don't know what that arm thing was. That I've never.
Well, that's a Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon,
Oh, really?
I've never seen the dance that Chad
2 years ago was when he was rocking the baby and he was going all out. But no, that was Josh. He broke the record, right, for most tight end, touchdowns for tight end
with 15.
Yeah, so tip of the cap to Josh. It just shows you where, even though we're saying, gosh, we got to get the ball to Wiley more and Lenny more. It's just Josh has had a storied career with the Bearcat.
Well, and they're involved more than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're probably trying to involve them. Yeah, but you got to remember,
catch the ball more.
Yeah,
but they're doing a lot,
and defenses are going to key on them a lot
because they're really good.
Yeah, so you're not going to be.
The touchdown was perfect. They motioned him out, got him in a matchup that guy had no chance of guarding Josh Wiley on that post.
When I saw him motion out there, I'm thinking they're got to be coming right to him.
Yeah. Well, and
Ben,
I think
Ben did a good job. Kind of looked away to the field just for a slightest bit, and then literally turns right back. Great pass, great ball, great catch, touchdown.
If you're that defender, you think a fade's coming, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Josh can cut out of his route better than anyone.
Oh,
He's so quick. So if you're a defender, it's I could try to cover the fade and I'm getting beat inside. That's what's so good about Josh in the red zone.
14 yards out, you're in one-on-one island coverage with Josh, you have to think the fade is where that's going. Fade or back shoulder, something on the sideline.
I think they gotta do more of that because they took such advantage of that with Alec last year too, and Josh. And I think it's something, I don't know, to get back to it. Yeah. I think it's so because then when you set up the fade, you're setting yourself up for the quick little dig in or whatever they want to call that quick little slant. I don't know what the exact name of that route he ran was, but it's setting everything up.
Well, because back in 2020, when Alec was hurt, Josh had that fade play. He had a great catch against USF and then another great one against Houston, just on that, just hike it and just lob it up to him and let him go make an athletic play. And then, of course, Alec last year, that was Alec's bread and butter. And he came down with numerous touchdowns that way. And it feels like this year they've kind of gone to Mardner a little bit more when it comes to those plays.
It also sets up the quick back shoulder too, because the defender's thinking high point, they just sneak it right in the back shoulder.
Right.
This is going to be painful for Bengals fans, but I want another Ryan Royer breakdown here on a play you haven't seen. Are you a Browns guy or a Bengals guy?
Should I let the people know that I'm a Browns guy? Is it Nicholas? Oh wait, no, we got the 2-point.
2-point conversion.
Ballsy call. Stefanski making a statement.
You know who that is Hudson? Right there, right? You know who that is right there, right? Watch the block.
Missed against New England. You gotta
mute it.
Ooh, shit. I mean, Hud's athletic enough to be doing that. I like that they're using him like that.
I mean, that's impressive.
That's money. Yeah.
That might be the best Bearcat in the NFL play of the week right there.
Yeah, or Alex deep ball.
Yeah,
even though he didn't score.
Alex deep ball was pretty sweet.
Got shoelaced a little bit. Could have scored.
I think we'll get one of those every single time. But
when we get hit on copyright on this one, Chad, in the two different spots, just make sure you just mute that portion of the video.
Yeah, I'll let you do it. You're good.
That's fine.
Here we go.
And that film breakdown is big man run, big hit.
Ooh.
Big man with big momentum equals big hit equals big hole.
Rinse, repeat next time in red zone inside 5-yard line.
If you're looking to sponsor a portion of the Bearcat Bounce podcast, feel free to line Ryan Royer's pockets with the sponsorship of Breaking Down Film.
I mean, I think like we haven't done enough of that. Like that's something we should be doing more of.
I'm down.
There wasn't a whole lot you had to break down on the Hudson one.
It'd be way better than sponsoring an AAC recap next year.
Oh, that's happening. That is happening.
The show's film study.
By the way, just a quick
film study with the show.
Now that we're talking about big strong fellas making big strong plays, Jeff Luke was on the sideline pregame, and I had to approach him and ask him about that Garrett Campbell story, Chad, and Aaron as well. I thought you were down there with him, but you weren't. We missed each other there. But Jeff Luke 100% confirms that happened, that he ripped someone's face mask off, and he gave me his phone number and said he'd love to come on the pod sometime to talk about it.
Oh, I'd love to have Jeff Luke on.
So there we go. That's another option.
You heard that story, right? Or were you part of? I know you weren't part of that discussion. Did we tell you that?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Garrett said Jeff Luke took somebody's face mask and
Jeff Luke?
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
So he was a 5-star linebacker that transferred from
top
Florida
5
State.
Player in his
top
class.
5 player in his class. His arms were
Google
like
him
this.
real quick, Roy.
He played at the end of the Tuberville or the middle of the Tuberville era. And Garrett said he reached out, he grabbed somebody's face mask and just popped it off the helmet.
For Luke.
Jeff Luc.
What happened to him here?
He was good. Good player.
Did he start?
Oh, yeah. And he got
some burn in the NFL.
He got a look in the NFL as a fullback. his arms were like that. I mean, he had the biggest biceps I've ever seen at UC.
Bigger than Kevin Muhan?
Yeah, way bigger, like substantially.
Way bigger? That's
substantially
insane.
bigger.
Did you Google him?
Yeah.
Look at the pictures.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and his
Physical specimen.
Well,
why did he leave Florida State?
He was in a position battle with another like top 10 5-star recruit that they brought in the same class, and the other guy won, so Jeff transferred.
She said, "Oh, I'm never going to play."
Yeah, and I figured out why he was able to rip the face mask off after I shook his hand, and I was like, "Wow, I got completely engulfed by."
That was a.
What was he doing
dude.
at the game? Is he from? He's a
Florida
Orlando area.
Florida, yeah. But
does he still rep the Bearcats well?
Oh yeah. He was shouting out Walt Stewart. You know, Walt was like, "What's up?"
The Big O was apparently down there too.
Oscar?
Yeah. Who was opposite RG3 in the booth?
Yeah, he had a picture. He put a picture up.
He had a picture up.
We lost in front of the Big O. Yep. God damn, that makes it even worse.
Well,
not good.
I mean, we could probably do another 2 hours on the offense and whatnot, but I guess we'll keep this one rolling along with just like same thing I did with defense. One thing that you guys want to see fixed or just kind of worked on leading into the Navy game.
We'll let Royer go.
O-line communication. I think it is the issue. It is a big issue with the run game, a big issue with the pass game, which is leading to an issue with Ben and exposing Ben's shortcomings when it comes to pocket awareness and pocket escapability.
Right.
And I just got to address this. Just all the Bearcat fans just tweeting all the stupid shit about Ben needing to be benched. Fickle and Gino are idiots. I mean, let's just put it this way. If Evan was better than Ben, he would be out there. If it was a remotely close position battle after a stack up of mistakes that Ben had made, Evan would be out there. So anytime Ben does something wrong, just know that there isn't another option that's better than him. And to stop talking about Evan Prater needing to be the starting quarterback, because if he was supposed to, he won't. And there's a reason why Ben's the starter. And Ben has had a really solid year. There's been times I thought he was going to blow up and have one of the best years. And there's been times that he's, just been kind of just, a little – and he knows he could play better, just a little bit more mediocre. And he'll be the first one to tell you that. And being good friends with him, I know he thinks that way, and I know that he's going to get that shit corrected. And so I'm just – get off the whole Ben Bryant negativity train. I can't stand it. It's just use some logic here. If Evan was really capable of being the starter, he would be.
I was also cheering for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Turnover.
We're getting a lot of tiebreaker questions. I've been looking at it. If Cincinnati wins out and UCF and Houston win out, the ship is played at UCF. Here's what I've gathered in multi-team tiebreakers. The conference record of the tied teams are compared in a mini round robin format. If within the mini round robin, any of the tied teams did not play each other, the group of teams shall remain tied unless one team defeated all other teams that are tied. That is not possible because Houston will not play Cincinnati and UCF.
Right.
So then it would go to the team that has the highest college football playoff selection committee rankings shall be a championship game participant. The latest available CFP rankings. If a team or team lose in the final weekend, wins the final play, we declare the championship game participant. If the highest rank of the tied teams in the latest CFP selection committee rankings wins in the final weekend of the regular season conference play, it will be declared a championship game participant. Loses in the final weekend of conference play, then the composite average. Oh, this is fucking confusing.
Hurry up and wait.
If there are multiple tied teams ranked in the latest available CFP Selection Committee rankings, the highest ranked team or teams that win in the final weekend of the conference regular season will be championship game participants. So if Cincinnati wins out, including wins over ECU and Tulane, I would think that would put UC and UCF in the championship game with UCF hosting.
Just make it a doubleheader.
So Houston has games at SMU and at ECU in their final four. So out of those three teams, I'd say they have the hardest close to their schedule.
Cincinnati's got 3 of 4 at home.
UCF's got some tough ones as well. But
does Tulane play UCF?
Yes, in next week.
Yeah.
So if Tulane wins that game, then it becomes
Houston
Bearcat.
having 3 losses doesn't matter, guys. What matters is conference record. Houston only has 1 conference loss.
So what happens if Tulane beats UCF and then we beat Tulane? Is it going to be a nipper?
It could be.
Well, if only we beat Tulane, if Tulane beats UCF at home and they win out but lose to us, then it would be Cincinnati versus Tulane. Because Tulane beat Houston.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, UCF has to go to Memphis and Tulane.
Remember, UCF has a conference loss.
Right.
So if they lose to Tulane, that gives them 2. Cincinnati would have 1, and Tulane would have 1 in that scenario. Tulane wins out, beats UCF. Cincinnati wins out, beats Tulane.
Right.
Then it would be Cincinnati and Tulane run it back. Whoever had the higher CFP ranking.
It would have to
I
be
guess
us.
Cincinnati would.
Cincinnati
because they beat them.
Head-to-head win.
Would have the head-to-head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
UCF has Memphis next week. They always
go Green Wave until Black Friday. How about that?
Yeah.
There we go.
We'll ride that.
Real.
But yeah, I mean, I want to just say yes, Ryan. You're completely right with what you said. By the way, before we dove into the championship game talk,
yeah.
it's just just be better. Yeah, come on, just be better.
I don't know that anybody watching this show is going to be the people that need to be addressed with that, though.
I agree. But
no, trust me, there's some of them out there.
All right,
but
they were in my mentions on Saturday.
All right,
they're out.
I guess obviously the other elephant in the room is the old Corey Kiner thing, and I'm sure that'll be squared away and figured out throughout the week as well.
Well, they ran the ball 12 times. I think it has been pretty clear over the past couple of weeks that Chuck has won the job. And I think they're giving Monty a chance to see, now that he's healthy, if he's the second best back on this roster. Mm-hmm. If that was a game where they ran the ball 28 times and Kiner didn't carry it, my eyebrow would raise a little.
Yeah.
But they had 12 runs the entire game. Somebody's going to get squeezed out of that, right? That's math.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get squeezed out. They couldn't run the ball. Well, I'll give them credit for this. They couldn't run the ball, so they just stopped.
Yeah, Chuck had 11 carries. Ryan had 3. But
no more of that.
14 times, not 12. My bad.
Yeah.
Still 14 runs.
No, I know.
For a Luke Fickell team is crazy.
Well, I think they saw that UCF was amped up to stop the run, and maybe a little bit more design, and the one play that Evan did get in, I didn't love the time and situation that he was thrown in there. Who knows?
And they knew, they were all over it too.
Yeah,
they knew exactly what to do.
I mean, I think
I know, guys, that the ranking comes into play. I'm just talking about for getting into for the people saying Houston would miss out with 3 losses. I'm just saying because they only have 1 conference loss, they would be in those tiebreaker scenarios. And because this conference is ignorant, I don't trust any of that shit. I'm just saying. I'm trusting any of that shit.
To your point, Ryan, of course they knew, because we never pass the ball when Evan's in the game. And you have to switch it up every now and then to keep people on their toes.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
put
I mean-
it in 3rd and 7. Everybody 3rd and 3. Everybody knew it was coming.
I mean, I think there are situations where you could use the talent that Evan possesses,
I do too.
but in that one play, it's like, come on, like, I don't just
Give him. You got to give him like a couple downs. You can't just throw him out there for one play and hope that you get it, and never pass with him when you do throw him out there for one play.
Well, if you're throwing him out there for one play, you're not putting him in there to pass, or you would just have Ben in the game.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see what happens now that the staff has the backs up against the wall mentality, and I feel like that's when
we haven't seen it since
right, but like
we didn't even really see it in 2019 because you guys lost at the end of the season.
Yep.
Maybe the bowl game.
Well,
I the shit out of the Boston, terrible team in that game.
Yeah. Well, I even think that USF game at home, in the COVID season right before the week layoff, I think even that game the team kind of looked like crap with all the turnovers and whatnot, and that was when the whole fan base was wanting Dez out and give different people shots. So I think it's just it's going to be interesting and refreshing to see what the team does coming into this next week, especially. I mean, it is just weird playing Navy again, but you got to do it.
The quarterback. We'll get to more of that as we move on with the week, but
right, exactly.
Without if Jabari can't go or Jabari's limited and no Malik,
it'll be interesting.
I like Eric Phillips and Noah Potter's game in the triple though. I like their destructiveness at the point of attack. I like that.
I agree with that.
I think Watley would do pretty well against them too.
Yeah. Watley played against them. Well, they prepped him really well last year for it. Watley did really well in practice with it.
Yeah.
So,
and also I think this would be a game where it's like, guys, this is the one team in the conference that I'm sure all of us are extremely happy to say we will not be seeing them moving forward on the schedule.
Yeah.
So
let's get a timestamp in here.
Yep, let's do a timestamp.
This timestamp is brought to you by Quick Paper Supply, your locally and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants. With weekly, low minimum next day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call Nick at 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases. There you go.
There you go. Well, 1 week away, guys. 1 week from tonight, we'll be reminiscing on a big game against Chaminade.
Are you good for Sunday next week, Royer?
Sunday next week? Yeah, I'll be good.
I feel like that'll be a good basketball heavy one as well.
We'll get Royer's thoughts on the team.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can open and shut the Navy door. Go from there.
I get off at 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Practice tomorrow from 4:30 to 6 if you want to.
Oh, I probably wouldn't.
6:30.
I'll get stuck in rush hour. I won't be home in time to make any of it. Right. Another time though. Thank you.
I'd love. I want to. If we're gonna have you talk basketball, I want you to get down and.
I'd love to.
Speaking of getting down and watching basketball and hearing about basketball, Chad, you were able to attend a practice recently, right? Since our last podcast.
Yeah, I was there Tuesday of last week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That on top of the super secret, not so secret thing that happened this past weekend as well. What kind of, I guess, pulse of the team heading into, which I think is actually pretty good, leading up against what the outsiders would consider cupcakes or somewhat games to kind of continue to find yourself. Starting with Chaminade, who still has Cincinnati as exhibition on their schedule. I don't know what that means, but what would you say kind of the pulse of the team? Obviously, you mentioned defense is going to take a little bit to catch up to where the offense is.
They got to get better defense and rebounding. Like those two areas. I don't think they feel like they're going to score 90 points a game,
Right.
But I think they feel a lot better about where the offense is right now in comparison to where it was a year ago. I know a year ago when I was having these conversations, the conversation strictly centered around, I don't know how we're going to score.
Right.
I don't know where over 30 games offense comes from.
Yeah.
I haven't had a lot of those conversations. Like they feel like this team is going to be able to put some points on the board. But the conversations I had, they felt better about the defense they played against Purdue. Now, I'm sure there are concerns about not being able to guard someone that is 7'4". But fortunately, they're not going to guard a lot of guys that are 7'4".
I think the rest of the country is probably trying to figure out how to do that as well. So,
the other rebounding, if you're going to be a Cincinnati basketball team,
yeah,
you got to rebound. But the question is, who is Trey Scott and Gary Clark? And when you look back, there's usually always been that guy, Eric Hitch, Jason Maxiell, that guy you could count on. Even Yancey was really good on the glass. For whatever flaws Yancey had, he could rebound.
Yeah.
I don't know who on this team you look to and say, that guy's out there for 25 minutes a night because he's gonna dominate in and out of area on the glass. So at least as things currently stand, that is a major problem because let's say they get up to the point where they're average on defense,
right,
where they can hold their own at least on defense, but then you give up a bunch of offensive rebounds.
Yeah, you got to go get.
Then you're terrible on defense, right? Because you're doing everything you can to grind out 30 seconds and get a stop, and then the other team gets 20 more seconds to come at you.
Right.
If they can't get this rebounding thing figured out, we're going to run into a lot of, ramming heads into walls, trying to get those two pieces in sync.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Well, because you mentioned having a defensive stop includes bringing in the defensive rebound, and it for a while you think back, the identity of Cincinnati basketball is rebounding, toughness, being able to get after it on the boards, this, that, and the other. But recently it has been somewhat of a bugaboo over the past 3 or 4 years. So, obviously, judging off of what you've heard from Chad Dollar on the podcast, you heard from Wes and just numerous other avenues, it sounds like they really want Odie to focus on that being the one thing that he can bring the team this year, is just relentlessly attacking the glass and becoming a rebound machine.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kalu has been able to do it in the past, but now he's a step up in talent and everything. I hope that he can take that next step as well and continue on the boards. But yeah, it does sound like the things also that I'm excited to see is just kind of, yes, there are those returning players on the team, but there's a lot of new faces as well. Just kind of how it's all integrated, how it all looks together. But, it's refreshing to hear that, when you mention the team, it's not like, is Jeremiah Davenport going to have to step up and be the number one player on the team? That's no longer the call. It's just Jeremiah Davenport has amped his game up, but now he's going to be able to be maximized to the best of his ability, and you have all these other playmakers and things like that. So I'm just excited to see how it all looks on the court together as they continue to find their identity before they head out to Maui. Aaron, what any pulse that you have on the basketball team, just as we get ready 1 week away?
No, I mean, I'm just excited to see what this team looks like when we see them competing in real games. Obviously, I don't know. I feel like in exhibition, you're still trying not to get hurt, even in basketball. So maybe you don't push yourself to the same.
They were trying to win the Purdue game. I'm just telling you.
But you're still not. I think that you're still not pushing yourself to the physical limits you would push yourself to in a regular game. That's just my 2 cents. But
I don't know that I believe that, because you're also in a position right here where there's a roster of 12, 13 guys that are all trying to get minutes.
Yeah. That's
so
fair.
Competition wise, I get, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying in terms of scrimmages, I'm just saying, I think in this situation where this team is, there's a lot of guys that we're still in a position where guys are, trying to make sure they get on the court.
I get it.
So another thing about Purdue is they were one of two teams last season in all of college basketball to not have a transfer on their roster. And again, this year, same thing, no transfers on the roster. So right now they are a team, for lack of better words. They've known each other, and they lost some big level talent after last season, but it's a team that's been together, and a team that's
what we always
really
talk about with
find
Nick,
their
right?
identity. Yeah,
it's like there's continuity when you have
Right.
continuity, and Matt Painter is a great coach. He's not a good coach.
Yeah,
A great coach.
yes.
Continuity, great coach in a scrimmage setting. Like you're probably in trouble, for being honest.
Mm-hmm. But that's why you have that early season schedule for the basketball team. Obviously you just go out there and handle your business against Chaminade, Cleveland State, Eastern Kentucky, and Northern Kentucky. Get things figured out. Find the lineups and the grooves with each other. What works on the court the best, and then you head to Maui and see with everything all stacked up how you can do. So I'm just excited to see what it looks like on the court, because I sadly haven't been able to get to a practice or anything, but you just see all these different pieces. I'm excited to see what they all look like put together on a court. So
Agreed.
We'll see. Chad, as far as rebounding goes, is Vic close to being that? Do you think? I mean, obviously it's a name that people love to talk about. But
I don't think he's a bad rebounder, but I don't think he's just not a glass eater, right? Like he's just not that guy that you think like he's going to get us 8 for sure. Mm-hmm. He's the guy you think like he can move, he can get us 5, 6, but is he really going to be the guy that like bullies the guy across from him? And goes and, keeps him off the offensive glass like a dog. Exactly, Matt. Like I don't know that he's a dog on the glass. And that's something either organically or through the portal or whatever it is, you're going to have to go find that guy. Because rebounding is absolutely a skill. It is absolutely a skill. It is actually a lot of people in the business think it is the skill that translates most effectively across levels. Right. If you're a good rebounder in high school, you're going to be a good rebounder in college. And if you're good enough, you're going to be a good rebounder in the NBA. Like there's great shooters in high school that can't shoot in college. Because, their release is a little slow or it's a little low. What they were great at in high school gets on a scouting report and teams take it away. Like defending is something that translates pretty well, but maybe you're a great on-ball defender and you're a bad team defender. We've seen that before here. We've seen guys that are great team defenders that when they get put in isolation can't stay in front of a guy. Like rebounding translates. It fucks. Rebounding fucks. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's
such a great description.
Like we all like it.
It gets the job done. It gets no matter what, it gets the job done. I couldn't think of a better analogy, and that's the one that came to my head, but I think it's the most effective one.
Chad, I was a great rebounder, too.
Hey, you don't need to be the biggest, though. Chad, you don't need to be the biggest, though. You just gotta be able to have good technique.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to know how to find it, and get it. I
knew
exactly.
Take this
we mentioned Jaquan Parker a couple pods ago. And he's a good example, it's someone that
at 6'4", Park was the guy that could go up against a 6'10" guy and go get the ball.
Right, exactly. So I agree. Maybe Kalu ends up being that guy. Maybe he sees that it's something they need.
It's not, Brent. But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's not like, okay,
Something
this
you
guy's
can learn,
going to turn into a great rebounder.
Yeah. Right.
Like you either got that dog in you, or you don't. Royer being a great rebounder makes perfect sense because you would do whatever it takes to go get the ball, right?
Yep.
No matter what.
I would kill a man to get the ball
with your bare hands.
Yes, elbows and everything.
It's like trying to.
How far is Kathy behind this podcast?
I mean, Kathy brings up good points. I agree.
Just an hour later.
She didn't say anything wrong, though. She's
not saying she did. She's just commenting on something we talked about at 8:53.
Wait, honestly,
maybe she got some slow Wi-Fi or something.
Kathy, I'm going to go back with what you're saying. One very underrated thing about the 2020 team and the 2021 team was the fact that they were like really good at not getting injured. Yeah, it's just the durability was something unlike you.
Well, but when there was a nick, when a guy went out for a week or two,
right.
It didn't really cause a dramatic impact. When Tyler Scott went out, we saw immediately the impact on the offense.
Right.
Yep.
With Jabari and Malik out, they got gassed for 500 yards.
All right, basketball timestamp.
That's so.
Hold on, we got it.
That's so good.
Kathy's gonna be so pissed when she hears my comments at 11:30. Love you, Kathy.
All right, timestamp.
Timestamp. Let's get Quick Paper Supply, your locally and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They service over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029. That's Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Bada bing, bada bing. Quickly before we get into the mailbag, because we always do tiny bit of recruiting. Not much talk offensively or defensively. Offensively, football-wise or basketball-wise as far as recruiting goes. Recently, from my eyes, obviously the big visit this weekend with Jordan Marshall, who would have some monster momentum for the football program.
I've also heard one of their top quarterback prospects in 2024, Danny O'Neal from Indy.
Oh.
Danny about that?
Where's he go, goes to the Pinnacle Cathedral High School. I actually know Danny's sister, so she's good friends with my sister.
Biblically?
Huh? What's that?
Moving on.
Yeah. No, O'Neal family's great. So. I literally didn't hear what he said. So
yes, yeah, I missed it too.
Yes, how well you knew her.
Oh, okay. No comment. I mean, they're a good family. So, Cathedral High School, gotta love it. Bring them in. I think the last Cathedral grad to play for Cincinnati was Big Cameron Beard, defensive lineman.
Cam Beard was a good one.
Yeah. And then Alex Hoffman before that. So, let's keep the lineage going, Mr. Danny O'Neal. But all right,
is Danny a pocket passer?
Nah, he's got some wheels to him.
The chat is on their game today.
He got some wheels to him, but yeah. So
those are two big 2024 visits.
Are those
coming up?
Officials, both of them?
Unofficials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was gonna say, but yeah. So hey, come out, be loud, keep going. Mailbag time.
Hang on.
Kind of a quiet mailbag tonight.
Quick.
It's Halloween.
Supply time stamp.
How many words per minute you pump out over there?
I don't know.
Okay.
Enough.
Oh, and you know what? We got to lock down these two. Lock down the local recruits because there might be another college football team here in the city here shortly from what I've been reading and hearing about. So gotta
What?
shore up the Cincinnati area.
There's a rumor Axe is gonna be playing in the Patriot League here soon with Dayton and Butler.
Really?
And UConn?
Give it a couple of years.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
said there's enough talent in Cincinnati where we can just recruit.
Ryan, are you shelling peanuts over there? What's going on?
I was opening up this thing of gum. I wanted a piece of gum.
So much ASMR.
Halloween
coming
candy.
Is it? That's the thing with these damn
Yeah.
AirPods. They pick up every noise but your voice.
You know what sucks? Can I tell you what sucks?
What? Brent's?
We've gotten past the combo of that, but yeah, what's up?
So we gave away all the Halloween candy, and Kelsey went trick-or-treating with a friend. And she's spending the night at her friend's house tonight. So there's currently 0 Halloween candy in the house.
So you were banking on stealing a little bit.
You gotta hide the bag a little
I
bit.
was
Sticky
so
thingies?
That tax.
So here's the thing.
You fumbled the bag, man.
I had to stop at Kroger today for something not Halloween candy related. And I had thought I had already previously bought enough Halloween candy to get me through Halloween. And they had Halloween candy on sale. So I bought 3 more bags of Halloween candy thinking I'm already good. And then we'll have these 3 other bags.
Yeah.
And then the damn kids went through it all. And instead of just not bringing the Halloween candy out, I did the good citizen thing and gave away all the Halloween candy. So now we don't have any Halloween candy. And my kid is staying at somebody else's house where I can't tax her for said Halloween candy.
My dad was my dad was like British colony level tax.
4 for me, 2 for you.
Yeah.
And
was
he
bad.
took all the good shit too, didn't he?
He'll probably listen to this too. So yeah, Dad. You know what? F you for stealing all my candy when I was a kid.
He Jimmy Kimmel'd you before Jimmy Kimmel was around, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think if Kathy has
Ryan,
kids,
all the candy's gone.
do you think if Kathy has kids, she takes all the good Halloween candy?
Moving on. What's more surprising to you with this team from where you felt we were entering the season? The inability to get push in the run game and short yardage, or the inability to stop the run when you know it's coming at the end of games?
Well, if you'd have told me at the start of the season that they would be without Jake Renfro, Malik Van, and Jabari Taylor, I don't think any of those things would be overly surprising. Right?
What's the end of the question? The inability to stop
The inability to stop the run when you know it's coming at the end of games. Sorry, I can only fit 200 characters on these questions.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Mine
I think just
the offense getting a push.
Yeah, offense. It's been so shockingly off pace with what we've been in the past.
You know, and just another thing, just the going under center thing, man. I understand that statistically it's better for that, but they got stuffed again on another short yardage one on Saturday going under center. Who knows? Obviously, it's.
I think the problem, Brent, is probably you've got to play action and put on tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did it once and it was a touchdown.
Right.
They haven't done it since. So, I don't know. Yeah, mine's offensively.
Aaron, it's a good thing we're doing this podcast tonight. I'm just going to tell you that.
I know I have the game on.
The boy. Come on.
Nick Chubb's really good.
Yep.
How do you feel if the Bearcats win 10 games this year? No postseason wins.
Awesome.
So that means they won every regular season game, lose the AAC championship game, and lose the bowl game.
Maybe a little less awesome there.
I'll feel terrible.
Yeah.
I'm expecting them to win out. I was expecting them to win yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, Saturday.
It would keep the string of, and 2020 doesn't count. You guys would have won 10 games in 2020.
Right.
This
but
team
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 5 years of essentially double-digit wins. It's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty elite company.
I know.
We're getting a little spoiled, Ryan. We're getting a little spoiled.
We are.
They got the guys, they got the coaches to win the rest of the season out and be in a New Year's Six bowl after choking away this game too. So
it just feels like that one where at the end of the year you're like, oh wow, they really got things rolling after that UCF loss. It has that feeling, which is all a hat tip to Luke, because Luke's instilled that thought in our heads, where in previous regimes it might have been like, oh gosh, we're going to snowball and start losing games.
Dumpster fire.
Right. So I mean, I still have a positive mindset on things, because I think UCF just treated that game so much. Like, I don't know. I'm done talking about that game.
I think they need to win either the championship or their bowl game, period. The end. Like, you can't.
Well, if they lose the championship,
they're going to win that bowl game.
You're going to be playing in Birmingham. Like, you got to win.
I'd rather
your bowl
win
game.
The championship.
Yeah, I'd rather win the championship.
Yeah, of course.
You're back in the New Year's Six bowl.
Good old Belk Bowl. Let's go.
The Birmingham Bowl was fun.
The Belk Bowl's like 4 steps up. The Belk Bowl's like 4 steps up from where they would be if they don't win the AAC.
UCF podcast had the Gasparilla Bowl countdown on their pods. Now I'm sure they're talking about the Cotton Bowl. And just get out of here.
I think that everyone is frustrated with Saturday's loss. Chad and crew, impart some wisdom on us laymen on why we are going to win out. Go Cats.
Luke Fickell, coach and staff.
Yeah,
that's all you need. That's all we
3
got.
of 4 at Nippert, and your game not at Nippert is Temple.
That's my key point right there. Like,
that is good.
And then you win those, and you've got the AAC championship at Nippert. So,
I know we just lost our first conference game, and God knows how long it's been. Like, what, 3 years, 4 years?
Since 2019.
Yeah. But when was the last time we lost at Nippert?
30 games.
30
there you go.
So
30 straight.
2017.
If you lose the Temple.
What was the last loss at Nippert? Was
2017, right?
Before
the end of Luke's first year.
Yeah.
Beat UConn the last game of the regular season when started the streak.
Right. Yeah, right. So it was the game prior to that.
All right. How much do you feel the lack of home games? Chad asked this question. I think he stole this question during the podcast. But no, how much? You asked it almost verbatim. How much?
Well, I mean, it's not hard to figure out. They played 2 BS games at home.
Well, now we know Chad's burner on the board.
It's Bearcat Law, JD. How much do you feel the lack of home games early in the season has hurt this team? UC has only played 2 FBS opponents at Nippert, which is a shockingly low number entering November. Does this give room for optimism, as the Cats have historically been much better, especially on offense at Nippert?
It's a factor. Like, I think a lot of continuity and energy and positivity comes from those games at Nippert early in the season, and this team never really got to experience that outside of, essentially the first half against Indiana. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, they were significantly better than USF, but they let USF hang around anyway.
That was a game before a bye. That's just a win.
Well, they had been road warriors,
right?
Yeah. Yep.
One thing that got lost in the loss on Saturday was something RG3 said about Wiley tipping whether the play was run or pass. He said he would explain it further, then never got back to it, or I missed it. Is the staff aware that at least one outside observer is seeing this? And if so, do they believe that to be the case? My question is, would it be out of pocket to ask them about it in the presser?
I think they probably already know about it.
Well, my problem again is he never finished his point.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Doesn't mean they wouldn't see it in film study.
If I'm going to ask Luke that question, I need all the information.
Sure, that makes sense.
I think that if the defense picked up on it,
he didn't elaborate what?
I think what I was saying earlier, if he's noticing it, that means UCF is definitely noticing it, and that means that other teams are going to pick up on it. And then that also means that our guys are going to watch our film, and they're going to pick up on it and make an adjustment.
Okay. If Evan had Ben's arm and Ben had Evan's legs, what current college quarterback would that might be?
One pretty damn good quarterback.
Yeah. That'd be Mr. Heisman contender.
He'd play for Tennessee.
Hey,
Hooker.
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
If your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle.
You love that,
one.
Chet.
I love that. My high school coach used to rip that all the time.
That's the football portion of the mailbag. Pretty light today, thank God, as it's already hit 2 hours. Basketball. Chad, any word on leading scorers from the secret scrimmage on Saturday?
From what I heard, Landers played really well.
Color me shocked.
I heard Kalu played really well offensively. Still working on the defensive side. Didn't hear a ton else like specific individuals. Other than that, I have not seen a box score. So maybe if I can, I'll be on campus all day tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to dig around and see if I can get a look. But
all right, predicting the season. Who leads the team in minutes at center?
That's really difficult because there are guys that I think are going to play the 4 and the 5.
Is that Kalu?
Kalu, some, yeah. Odie, some, potentially. Like
Vic?
I don't think we see Vic at the 4
no?
this year. No. I think because you had
a little last year, right?
Because you had Koval and Abdul.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just answering.
Towers.
Legit 5. Yeah.
So, like, there wasn't a lot of time for him to get minutes at the 5. If you were going to play him, he had to play a little bit of both. I think he's strictly going to be at the 5 this year. I'll guess Vic. That's all. That's my guess. If we're able to isolate like minutes at the 5 and the 5 only, I'll guess Vic.
You didn't want to throw Jared Hensley in there?
No, I think he's going to play some at the 5.
I know, which is crazy to me.
He's 6'9". Like, there have been smaller centers in basketball history.
Yeah, just basketball is in such a strange place.
Eric Hicks is barely taller than Royer.
Fuck the 3. I want to go back to no 3-pointer.
So he's tall as shit.
Just dunk all day. That's fine. I'll say Kalu.
Okay. I think he'll be up there for sure.
Brent, who you got?
I hate to steal Chaz, but I'm going to say Vic as well.
Vic.
I think he's the one guy that's going to be playing one position.
Yeah.
In this conversation.
I mean, you can do Vic and Kalu on the court together. You can do Vic and Odie on the court together.
Who leads this team in minutes at point guard? I say Finney.
Rob.
You gonna go sleeper, DDJ?
Yeah, I think so.
And you chastised me when I said DDJ at point guard.
Well, but I think I think for this team to be at its best, like in terms of, I think here's where we're getting into like a tough conversation in terms of point guard.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna want, if you're struggling to be good defensively and rebounding, the one guy you're probably going to want on the floor more than anyone is John Newton. Because he can rebound from the wing and he can really defend. If you're playing Finney and Micah at point guard for most of the 40 minutes, the math on DDJ, Newman, Nolly, Davenport, Skillings gets, 80 minutes for those 5 guys. And even potentially Josh Reed. Like, that's a really tight needle. It'll probably be Finney. But I think by the end of the year, if they're playing at a higher level, it'll probably have to be DeJulius.
All right. And who leads this team in rebounds?
Whoa. I plead the fifth. I have no fucking idea. Ryan Royer. You got a year
Off the
left.
bench.
Right? You got a year left. You could Connor Barwin it.
I'm going to say Landers Nolly because I think he's going to have the most minutes.
I mean, he can rebound pretty well.
I think Kalu.
Okay. I'm going to go with a surprise. I'll go JD.
Okay.
I don't think JD's a
JD
bad
had some
rebounder.
games. Well, yeah, he's a good defensive rebounder. Well, he had some games where he had to rebound.
They are going to desperately need a defensive rebounder.
Right.
So I'll go JD.
I don't hate it.
That is the basketball portion of the mailbag. Again, pretty light.
You know what's funny, Chad?
Tonka's got an extra. What?
Chad, there's like a 3-and-D player, you know? JD could be a 3-and-rebound player. And I think they could just tell him harp on that, and we'll go
3-and-re?
3-and-re. I like it.
Just came up with a new basketball phrase, Brett. Sweeping the nation. 3-and-re.
I like that one.
If we think Nolly, DeJulius, and JD will be the top three, I don't think that. Barring injury, I know that. Who are the next three? I'll play you rock, paper, scissors, like going down the rosters to figure it out.
No, I don't think this is that hard. I think it'll be Hensley, Vic, and Skillings or Reed.
Kalu's of the guys after that. Kalu is the most offensively talented. So Kalu.
I guess I just don't. I don't know Kalu's game
definitely.
So
Kalu is definitely in that three.
I think you want to see Skillings become that.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he can
in the top 6. Yeah, minute wise.
Like his defense.
Yeah,
is a long way to go. Long way to go.
But hopefully Vic as well.
Yeah, Vic, Kalu, and
Hensley.
I don't know if Jarrett. Like I want to see Jarrett score at that level. If Jarrett scores at that level, then this team is going to be in a pretty good spot offensively.
Yeah.
I think there's the reality is I think Micah and Rob probably kind of cancel each other out because the minutes are going to be split. I don't know if one of those two is going to play enough to be a top 6 scorer on the team. I'll go Newman. I'll go Vic, Kalu, and Newman. Those are my 3.
And I think they're wanting a lot out of Newman too. Just the amount of times that he's been shown on graphics and interviews and things of that sort. So I think they're going to be relying on him quite a lot.
I just love the chat. Oh, Kathy.
Here we go. Banks, baby. Banks.
All right. The Banks portion of the mailbag. Congrats to Aaron for surviving Orlando. Congrats to Skins99. Shout out to himself, apparently, for the sudden relevance of the AAC Weekly Pod. This should help with fundraising for future endeavors. Apparently, he paid off UCF. Yeah. Or anyway, assuming some producer wants to make the Bearcat Bounce podcast the movie, what actors would be playing Chad, Brent, Aaron, and would Henry Cavill play Royer? I don't even know who that is. Seems appropriate.
Superman.
Since he's king of the nerds and Royer's an engineer. Last of all, I nominate LeVar Burton to play fake John Goebel, and Lacey Chabert will be Skins99. P.S. #AAC23.
Skins, your tits aren't that great. Sorry.
I mean, shoot. If Skins is Lacey, what's up, Skins? You can hit my DM.
I think now that he's got a movie, I think the perfect person to play me is Bert Kreischer.
Yes.
I'm going with
the machine.
I'd be the guy from Scrubs.
A lot of guys on Scrubs there.
Yeah, the main character.
Oh.
Is that Zach Braff?
Yep, Zach Braff it is. I just didn't know if I said Zach Braff, if the larger portion of the audience would actually know that name.
There's
I
this
think I
thing
go
called
Fred
Google.
Durst playing Aaron.
Fred Durst. Like old man Fred Durst that he's out here doing now? Get out of here.
Ryan, you get Superman, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well,
somebody turn that one down.
Somebody earlier in the chat said he looked like Disney Hercules. I don't know that
asked you to pull up the picture.
Yep, I don't know that I agree with it, but
I mean, the hair is way too light, but
yeah.
kind of. I see the flow. Like the flow makes sense.
Flow.
It looks more like Soppy than it looks like you.
Soppy's old flow before he cut his hair.
I miss that guy, man.
What you should. You know what we should do? We should have you sneak attack a Thursday night pod.
What do you mean? Oh, on
with
Sopko and
I'd love to. Yeah,
I'd love just to. Not tell them that you're showing up and have you show up.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like, what the fuck are y'all like? What is going on here?
I'll just start sending you invites.
Yeah, and that way
you just pop in whenever you want.
You want to pop in at any given time,
whether you decide to do it or not.
That's great.
And then
there's one other one, right?
Well, there's
it's like a normal, like it's not a Banks question.
There's a really long one that I didn't even bother.
Well, I don't know who's playing me in the movie, damn it, but hopefully someone good.
Well, who do you want to play you? Speak up. Speak it up.
Man, maybe like a Leo or BP, probably. I don't know.
Little Braddy Pitt.
Little Braddy P.
I'm picturing the dude from Eastbound and Down.
Okay, I can handle that.
I got Danny McBride.
That's who it is.
Oh, really?
Danny McBride.
I can handle that. We'll take it.
Pineapple Express, Danny McBride.
I'm glad we're on the same page, Ryan. I'm not going to even bother to put anything in this one, but if you had the option, would you swap the last 5 years with Houston, strictly looking at basketball and football from 2017 until today?
Nope.
I concur 1,000%.
No. College football playoff.
You don't get in the Big 12.
Yeah.
I mean, they did.
I mean, Houston's in.
Yeah, but I don't know if Cincinnati had that same track record that Cincinnati gets into the Big 12 with Houston's last 5 years.
Plus, look, if you ask me, as the owner of Bearcat Journal, who would you rather deal with, Luke Fickell and Wes Miller, or Kelvin Sampson and Dana fucking Holgerson?
Do it. Kill me now. And then our last question here is, in honor of Monday Night Football, who is your all-time most favorite Cleveland Brown player? Yikes.
I don't.
There you go.
Like, I don't have one. I don't care about that. I guess Bernie Kosar?
Nick Chubb.
I loved Baker. I was a Baker bro.
Oh, there is no more. You could have been a stunt double for Baker.
I had Baker. He was a walk on. He was just he would took the Browns to the playoffs, beat the Steelers. I loved him. I loved Peyton Hillis too. He was a dog.
I like that returner. Who was that returner? Josh
Cribbs.
Maybe Johnny Manziel.
Take it to the crib.
Yeah, he was
a little Johnny Football on there. My favorite is James Hudson and Jerome Ford.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
Great block by James Hudson tonight. Just devastating.
Excellent block.
That's
devastating block. All right.
This game's getting out of hand, Aaron. What the heck is going on?
I don't know. It's terrible.
It is. Look, here was my take going into this game. I said that my neighbors, one of my neighbor is a childhood friend I've known since we were in middle school, and his wife is from Cleveland. She's a Browns fan, and she was like, I don't know. I don't think the Browns can win. I said, did you watch the Bengals offense without T. Higgins? What do you think it's going to look like without Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
It's been less about the offense and more about how well the offensive line's been atrocious.
0 points, Aaron.
Atrocious. The
0 points.
Defense has been horrendous as well, though.
They have 0 points.
It's going to be really fun to talk about this one tomorrow. Can't wait.
0. Not 1 point.
Can we be done?
Not 2 points. 0 points.
Oh, yeah. Burrow's getting lit up.
Oh, man. Well,
I'd take him out. Just put
Gotta
the guy in
save
for the
him.
rest of the game.
got a whole quarter plus left, guys. So
Yeah. Aaron, go watch the fourth quarter. Enjoy yourself.
we'll see what we can do. But, hey, that was a spooky Halloween edition of the BBP. I think everyone did a good job. But, hey, anything else? Nothing?
The heck happened?
I don't know what just happened. He knocked himself out of the chat.
Is Brent okay?
On the closeout.
That's it. That's it for the BBP. We'll see everybody next week. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah, that's so good.